Hi everyone, and welcome to our daily show, The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day right here at the heart of the newsroom. My name is Alyssa Wu, and I'm coming to you live from the Straits Times. We are streaming live right now on Facebook and YouTube, and if you're watching on YouTube, do click that bell button so that you'll be notified whenever we go live. I'll be joined very shortly by my newsroom colleagues, where we'll discuss the topics that got you talking today. For our first story, from June 2020, carpooling services with a fleet of 800 or more vehicles will be licensed under a regulatory framework. This is new, and this will govern all point-to-point transport. I have here with me Senior Transport Correspondent Christopher Tan to discuss this. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Okay. So I want to know, why is there this license for carpooling now?
Right, because carpooling has grown to be quite popular and account for quite a lot of trips. According to one estimate, the number of drivers on these carpooling apps, twice the number of, double that of private hire, right? So it's a very sizable pool of drivers, accounting for a large number of trips. So when something is so huge, you need some kind of a regulation to ensure that things go on right and things don't go awry.
And there's also concern that this may be deviating away from its not-for-profit origins, right?
Exactly. I think, when carpooling framework was set up some time ago, it was very informal understanding that, a driver is not supposed to pick up fares out of his original route. For instance, if you're going from Toa Payoh to Shenton Way, I'm not supposed to deviate and pick up people from Geylang or whatever, right? And the principle of that is that you don't contribute to congestion, right? You're just going along your way and to pick up someone who's going the same way, right? And you're not supposed to charge commercial fares. You're just supposed to charge and recoup costs incurred during that trip, things like fuel, parking, things like that, or maybe ERP. Right? But so far, the reality is that quite a lot of fares are actually quite commercial, right? We very often grab hitch rides are $10, $12, $15, right? And so I think because of these things, we need to have some kind of a licensing regime to kind of differentiate what carpooling is from taxis and private hire rides.
So are there any details of what this license will cover?
There are not a lot of details. It's just that Senior Minister of State for Transport mentioned that it will probably not be as onerous as the licensing regime for the ride-hail and street-hail providers.
Okay. So let's say I'm a Grab hitch driver. How is it going to affect me? Will it affect my earnings?
It depends on how the industry responds to this new licensing. If, let's say, the licensing stipulates that you have to follow the criteria that was set out initially on carpooling. For instance, what I mentioned just now about not picking up anyone that is not along your way, not charging commercial rates, right? If they respond in a way that say, okay, now we have to reset, recalibrate our fares, there is a likelihood that carpooling fares will be lower, which is good for consumers, but maybe not so good for drivers.
I understand.
Yeah.
So what are your personal opinions about this new carpooling license?
I think it's about time. Like I said, they account for a huge number of trips now. And we don't want to have a situation where they are actually a huge transport provider that's flying under the radar, right? As they tend to be now, right? Because for taxis, it's very transparent. We know who the taxi drivers are. We know what the vehicles look like. And private hire, we have the blue label to distinguish them from normal cars. And now they're going to be licensed. The drivers will go through training. But for carpooling, really there is none of that, right? It's up to the drivers themselves to kind of, and also the app providers to kind of self-regulate. So I think it's about time that that the government does something, and I'm glad that it's doing so.
Because in this way, they are being fair to the other road users as well, right?
Fair to everybody, right? Fair to the commercial providers, and also fair to other motorists on the road. Because if you are not picking up people along the way, just strictly along the way, you are actually adding to congestion.
Right. I understand. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing with us.
Sure.
If you'd like to read the full story, do head on to straitstimes.com.